Hellingly Hospital is a real, now abandoned psychiatric institution located in East Sussex, England. It opened in 1903 and was considered state-of-the-art at the time, with its own electric plant and railway service. Designed to treat the mentally ill, the hospital soon became known not just for its vast grounds and red brick architecture, but for the whispers of what happened inside its walls. Treatments like hydrotherapy, forced isolation, and electroshock therapy were common. Over time, patients went missing, some died under mysterious circumstances, and others were silenced permanently. When mental health policies shifted in the 1990s, the hospital was shut down in 1994. But locals say it never really closed. People living nearby report faint screams at night, weeping that comes from the empty walls, and shadowy figures moving through the ruins. Urban explorers have entered Hellingly to document its decaying beauty, only to return pale, shaken, and unwilling to speak of what they saw. I was one of them. I work as a freelance photographer and urban explorer. I'd heard about Hellingly for years, but it always seemed like one of those fake haunted places people talk about online for attention. I wanted something real, something raw. So one cold October evening, I packed my camera, a flashlight, and a handheld recorder and made my way to the outskirts of East Sussex. The gate was rusted but open, groaning as I pushed it aside. The wind was unusually still, not a bird in the sky, not a rustle from the trees. As I stepped onto the mossy stone pathway, the air changed. Heavier, colder, as if the atmosphere itself didn't want me to enter. Inside, it was worse. Peeling walls, broken tiles, rusted gurneys, and old children's drawings covered in mold. I found old signs reading patient isolation, hydrotherapy, and one scratched over placard that simply read, "Do not open." As I took photos, I felt watched. Not just that paranoid someone's behind you feeling, I mean really watched, like eyes were boring into the back of my skull. Then I heard it, a child sobbing, soft, distant, but unmistakably real. I turned on my recorder. Is someone here? Silence. Then drip, drip, splash, the hydrotherapy ward. I moved toward it cautiously. The air inside the chamber was damp and ice cold. A massive old porcelain tub sat at the center, its edges still stained. As I raised my camera to photograph it, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I spun around. No one. I clicked the photo. Later, when I reviewed it, there was a figure standing at the edge of the tub, a woman in a nurse's uniform, face down, unmoving. I never saw her with my eyes. Only the camera did. I continued down a hallway and reached a room marked Records. Most files were torn or decayed, but one caught my eye. Patient 43B, Isabella Wren. Patient claims a shadow visits her every night at 3 a.m., whispering, "Come back." Condition worsening, shows signs of self-harm. Delusional episodes increasing. Taped inside was a photograph of a frail young girl with hollow eyes. At that exact moment, the old grandfather clock in the hallway ticked to 3 a.m. and the door behind me creaked open by itself. I slowly stepped out and froze. Down the corridor was the same nurse. She stood still, white dress soaked as if she had just emerged from water. Her eyes, pure white like cataracts, stared through me. She lifted her arm and pointed directly at me. "You left us." "No," I said, backing away. "I don't know you." "None of you do. You forget us. You always forget." I bolted, running down unfamiliar hallways that twisted like a maze. Every turn brought me back to the same corridor, the same door, over and over again. Eventually, I stumbled into a room I hadn't seen before. In the center, a cracked mirror hung above a rusted sink. As I looked into it, I saw her standing behind me, not beside me, not reflected wrongly, directly behind me. I turned. Nothing. But in the mirror, she remained. I wanted out. I yelled, screamed, begged. The air grew colder. My breath misted in front of me. And then, from a corner of the ceiling, I heard whispering. Dozens of voices in unison. Set us free. Set us free. Then silence. The door opened by itself. I stumbled out into the main foyer and rushed toward the exit. But before I could leave, I tripped over something. A leather-bound journal. Inside it was one final entry. They keep calling. Every night. I can't leave. Not until someone tells our story. Not until we are remembered. Nurse Evelyn Marlowe. I left the building at sunrise, broken and trembling. I was never the same again. Back home, I reviewed the photos on my camera. What I saw still haunts me. A nurse standing beside me in rooms where I was alone. Bloody handprints appearing mid-wall. A child sitting in a corner, grinning. His face twisted in ways I can't explain. And one image of me, sitting in a chair I don't remember, eyes closed. And someone's hand on my shoulder. A nurse's hand. Hellingly Hospital is not just an urban myth. It did exist, and it was closed for good in 1994 after decades of questionable treatment methods and unexplained events. Paranormal investigators have visited the ruins multiple times and reported voices, apparitions, and sudden drops in temperature. In 2003, one explorer captured an image of a ghostly woman in a nurse's uniform, appearing down a sealed corridor that no one could access. Though most of Hellingly has now been demolished or converted into housing, some buildings remain untouched. And they say, the ones who suffered there still whisper, waiting for someone to remember them. Some doors are meant to stay shut, but once you open them, they never truly close.